All right, all right. So, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for taking your time for joining me on these 5 minute-ish Fridays. Just for the recap, every Friday at noon, the goal is to go live with 5 to 10, 15 minute-ish topics. Sometimes they last 5 minutes. Sometimes they last 30 minutes, depending on the topic and things like that. But I just once again, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you guys being here for joining me on this. And if you have any questions, just please feel free to type them in, and I'll be able to reply. So let's go ahead and get started. So as of Q2 2025, the national mortgage delinquency rate actually jumped up 3.12% from 2.9% the previous quarter. And then also in 2024, 32% of note investors reported using alternatives to foreclosure, such as loan modifications or cash for keys, this deed in lieu. As for the first approach, foreclosure, right? So unfortunately, this is 2024. Trying to find something like most recently, but I can tell you from just as a note investor myself, that foreclosure is the very last thing that I want to do on an asset. So with that, today's topic is what happens if the borrower stops paying. So as I start off with everything, I am not a financial planner or CPA. This video is for educational purposes only. This is not investment, tax, or legal advice. Please, please, please consult a qualified professional for advice. Any information that I give you or anybody else gives you, please always vet it with your attorney, your financial planner, your CPA, somebody that has your best interest at heart. So please just always take what anybody, including me, gives you, and just always vet that through your attorney or your CPA. So with that, first thing first, missed payments happen. Don't panic. You're the bank now, no longer the landlord. There's a legal process to protect your interest, and it all starts with the loan documents and state laws. So that when you're buying, and that's why it's crucial especially when you're buying these notes, is to, if you do not understand what you're looking at, please consult with an attorney, somebody that can walk you through from A to Z on the document creation. That way you can make sure that everything is looking good. Yep, you may pay, like especially on your first couple note investments, you may pay $500 to $1,000, but I'd rather be out $500 to $1,000 than versus being out $30, $50, $80, $90,000 because you didn't properly do the due diligence on the paperwork. And once again, it all starts with the loan documents and the state laws. There are, on the foreclosures, you have judicial versus non-judicial states. Judicial, you must go through a court process. These are a little bit longer. Non-judicial, it follows state-approved processes. It's a third party. It's outside the courts. Judicial, usually longer timelines, a lot higher legal costs. And then that's not even including if they file bankruptcy, right? So that's another topic. And then non-judicial, it's faster, simpler, if the paperwork is clean. Ultimately, it comes back to that paperwork, that collateral. You need to look at that, once again, do your proper due diligence looking at that paperwork to make sure it's sound when you buy these notes. Oh, and just real quick, this is the map. I can link this map. I'll put this up as a resource, so you can look at the states that are judicial versus non-judicial. The ones in blue are judicial, and the ones in gray are non. So I'll put that as a resource for you. So average timelines, judicial foreclosures can take 9 to 24 months. Non-judicial foreclosures can take 2 to 6 months. Timelines, they vary by state and borrower's actions. Once again, especially if they file bankruptcy, this will delay the process. I buy bankruptcies all the time. I particularly like them. And what I'll do is I'll do a 5 minute-ish Fridays on bankruptcies, like the process, and like the different Chapter 7 versus 13, and and things like that. So I absolutely love them. But to get back to this, pro tip: always check state-specific timelines before buying. Your options before foreclosure: call the borrower. Now, you shouldn't be reaching out to the borrower. Your servicer should be reaching out to the borrower. Call the borrower. Some will actually restart the payments. You can get them on a loan modification or some type of forbearance, or you could do a cash for keys or deed in lieu of a foreclosure. Now, I in a previous 5 Minute Itch Fridays, I talked about cash for keys, deed in lieu, so you can go ahead and check that out for further information on that. So your goal ultimately is to avoid going to court if possible, and then at the same time protecting your return on investment. So foreclosure isn't always the end. If foreclosure is needed, you can take the property back, sell the asset, rent it out, or sell it with seller financing. I've done that in the past. You still have options to recover your investments. So, and like I was saying initially, documents do matter. The collateral file must be solid. Watch for missing signature, gaps in assignments, unrecorded documentation. A bad file, it equates to no power in court. So if you do not understand what you are looking at, please consult with an attorney. They will help you, go through it. So here's an example case study. Bought a note in foreclosure. It's a judicial state. Borrower stopped making payments after 3 months. Offered a mod. They didn't respond. Wound up filing foreclosure. Took 18 months to get the property back. Sold the property for 80%, which gave me a 80% return on my investment. So, right place, right time with this. So, like I said, foreclosure isn't always the end, isn't the end of the road, so to speak. It's what I do is foreclosure is the very last thing that I do, but you do have borrowers that will 100% bury their heads in the sand, and they will force your hand to do a foreclosure. So, just like I was initially saying, I always try to do a loan modification, a deed in lieu, or even for like a forbearance in order to get them paying. But if they do force my hand, I will ultimately have to do a foreclosure on this. So some key takeaways: know the laws of the states you're investing in. Judicial, slower, more expensive. Non-judicial, it's quicker, but still paperwork is dependent. Be proactive and don't wait 90 days to act. If something happens, please move forward with it. Consult with an attorney to see what your best options are. Consult with your servicer as well to see if they've been in contact with that borrower, to see what's actually going on in their lives, because sometimes bad things happen to good people that they just need help. And if you're in a position where you can actually help them, then that's the motto that I tend to go by, is that if I can help them, I will 100% help them any way that I can. So with that, I am not seeing any questions. If you do have questions, you can go ahead and drop them in, or you can just send me an email. I've had some people send me emails at Larry@LJH Investments, or they've even texted me 513-301-1468. Or you can schedule a 30-minute call, talkwithlarryhoffman.com. Hang on a second. Let me get rid of that, and I'll go back over to this over here. So that way, if you want to schedule a call, you could schedule a 30-minute call, talkwithlarryhoffman.com. About, like a note that you're looking at, any type of real estate that you're looking at, or if you're interested in, putting some lazy assets to work, secured by real estate, earning an above average return, book that call, talkwithlarryhoffman.com. I'll be able to help you any way that I can. I'm looking for questions, and I'm not seeing anything. So please feel free, if you have any questions, just go ahead and shoot them over, and I'll address them. I'll answer them in the chat as well. Or I could actually do another 5-Minute Itch Fridays to expand on that topic. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. I'm not seeing anything. You have a fantastic Friday and have a safe and blessed weekend. See you guys.